Hey, welcome to EPN. My name is Victor Lucas, and we bring you the latest in everything cool every single day. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of EP Live. This rundown is going out to Jeff Mock. What a great name. Vic, I love watching those classic episodes with my buddies at our local multiplayer meetups. Please keep uploading more of them. We will. We've been super busy, but there's something that I want to tell you guys. I guess I'll do it right now, and then I'll do a follow-up video. I've been having a real rethink about our classic content. I've been uploading everything, and we've been getting to them as often as we can, and we love the feedback and everything, but I feel like there is something much bigger that we should do with this, and I'm kind of feeling like we should have a sponsor for the classic episodes so that we can say Classic EP and Classic Reviews in the Run and Judgment Day brought to you by, but I also feel like we should be committing to getting everything up there, and in order to do that, we need some funding. We need to be able to spend some money to get the gear that we're going to need and put the people on it that we're going to be able to archive it and get it all up there. So I'm really thinking maybe doing a crowdfunding project to see if people would be interested in helping us archive all of that content. Let me know what you think about that. If you've got some ideas as well that I'm not even thinking of how we get all of that stuff up. It doesn't have to be all at once. I just want it to be in a very steady stream, and I want every single thing that we have done, starting with the episodes and then maybe going into the longer cuts on some of the archived full interviews that we've got in our archive. I mean, we have the best archive in the world about this medium, and I'd like to use it. Anyways, let's get going with the rundown. It looks like the once great king of the Battle Royale genre is slowly being dethroned. Yesterday, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds dropped below 1 million daily players for the first time in more than a year. That's according to the numbers from the Steam database, which show that the game saw just over 950,000 players on Monday. Battlegrounds first cracked 1 million daily players back in May 2017, making it only the second game in Steam's history to do it, the first one being Dota 2. It seems like there's an obvious reason for the drop. Yesterday happens to be when rival Activision began rolling out the beta for their own Battle Royale experience, Blackout, which is part of Call of Duty's Black Ops 4. This means Battlegrounds could see its popularity drop even further when the final version of Black Ops 4 deploys this October. The game has also seen stiff competition from other Battle Royale titles, most obviously Fortnite. That game isn't available on Steam, so it's harder to compare their daily numbers. It doesn't surprise me at all that Call of Duty is chipping away at this. There's a ton of hype, there's a ton of marketing, and there's a ton of curiosity. So far, I've heard great things about the new Blackout mode. We're going to test it out a little bit later in the episode, so stay tuned for that. But yes, we knew that this was coming. Battlegrounds is a mode. It's an amazing game. It's an amazing experience, but it is a mode in other shooters, and it will be a mode that doesn't ever go away. But now Battlegrounds, if they're going to sort of contain and that audience and sort of keep building on it, they've got to deliver a lot more content, because the other players, the Battlefields and the Call of Duties, and now Epic is all in with Fortnite. We're going to start to see this mode happen again and again. I mean, if Halo's got a Battle Royale mode, that's going to be very interesting and exciting and draw a lot of curiosity to it as well. This mode is not going away. And Battlegrounds, congratulations. You legitimized it, you popularized it, but everybody's going to be ripping you up. I'm borrowing from your great idea. Bringing back the Kingdoms of Amalur franchise might be a little more tricky than originally thought. European gaming giant THQ Nordic has clarified the status of the Amalur IP, which they bought last week. THQ Nordic owns the rights to future games in the series, as well as any unfinished titles as expected, but when it comes to the original game, that's where things get a little complicated. Speaking with Eurogamer, THQ Nordic says that the publishing rights to the original game are still held by EA, which means that if they ever want to re-release the old game, they'll have to work out a deal. They haven't said if they plan to do this, so we'll have to wait and see. As for new games, it's a no-brainer that THQ Nordic bought the franchise in order to do something with it, so expect new titles in the coming years. My suspicion is that they've mentioned this in public, so they're already behind the scenes working out a deal with EA to bring that back. THQ Nordic has already brought back a bunch of classic games, remastered them, like the remastered edition and the Blob. I think that we are going to see Kingdoms of Amalur sort of repositioned and brought back to the other platforms. It would make a great Switch title. That would be a perfect platform, because it was like, opening up this expansive fantasy book, and you could carry it anywhere with you and just sort of explore. They would have to update the graphics for sure, but on the Switch, I think the expectations would be a little lower than if you were bringing something to the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One. So I'm very excited about what THQ Nordic is doing. Good on you guys. It's very cool for you to find some of these old classic gems and bring them out again. Thumbs up to THQ Nordic. And EA might need all the friends that they can find right about now because they just got themselves into a whole bunch of new trouble over loot boxes. The government of Belgium has officially launched a criminal investigation into EA over the loot boxes in FIFA 18. Earlier this year, the Belgian Gaming Commission ruled that most loot boxes do count as a form of in-game gambling, making it illegal for games that have them to be sold or marketed to children. FIFA was named specifically in the ruling, along with other big games like CSGO and Overwatch. Valve and Blizzard have already taken steps to modify their games in the country in order to comply with the ruling, but according to the Belgian newspaper Metro, EA has refused to modify FIFA 18. The matter will now go to the courts, and this might actually be what EA wants. Taking the matter before a judge will allow EA to argue their position and perhaps convince them that loot boxes aren't gambling, but there's no telling what will happen, so the plan could backfire. I guess you might call this a gamble. All this is happening as the next game in the series, FIFA 19, is launching in just 2 weeks. This is controversy that EA doesn't need, but it's an important conversation. I think we do need to figure it out. I think that government intervention and government sort of oversight of video games is kind of a slippery slope. But yes, loot boxes have pissed a lot of people off, and a lot of people have inadvertently spent tons of money or become addicted to spending the money inside of these experiences. And all of that, education and information, I think, needs to be out in the public a lot more so that the industry improves. We're not done. The games industry is not perfect. There's a lot of things and a lot of lessons that need to be learned. And I think that there is an analogy to the loot boxes in sports games to the way that people buy packs of trading cards when you go to the store. Those usually cost $1 and you got 7. I haven't bought them in a long time, but they don't cost that much and you get a stick of bubble gum. There's some physical thing there. With the trading cards that you get in these games, it does feel like you are on that sort of drip. You're constantly pressing that button to buy more, and you don't know what you're going to get. And maybe the answer is there's a little bit more information revealed right up front so people know exactly what they're spending their money on. This is very interesting, and it's only going to make the industry better. I don't think the idea here is just point the finger at EA and say, you suckers. I think this is about them having this discussion, working it out, and honestly making everybody happy. That's EA's job. That's job number one. EA has pissed people off. Their job right now is to make everybody happy. They're an entertainment company that's supposed to put out joy. And for whatever reason, over the last few years, they've put out stuff that's made a lot of people angry, and I think they got to fix that. All right, if you're already finished the new Spider-Man game, developer Insomniac is staying up all night to bring you something new. Insomniac Games says they're currently working on a new Game Plus mode for Spider-Man, which will give players who finished it a reason to jump back in. What exactly will be included in the new Game Plus mode hasn't been revealed, although they typically offer more challenging difficulty and the ability to replay from the start with all of your endgame skills and gear. We'll let you know when more details come in. Spider-Man will also be getting at least 3 batches of paid DLC, offering new story content with new characters and missions, along with new Spidey suits. The first DLC chapter lands in late October. This is all fantastic news. I've been trying to kind of figure out what I want to say about finishing a game like Spider-Man, because it's such an exceptional game, and everybody that owns a PlayStation 4 has to go out and get this game. That's what I'm saying. I feel like it's a game for everyone. It's selling like crazy. But what happens, and it's kind of happened with us here a little bit, is that you finish the game, you review the game, you talk about the game, and then you move away from it. Whereas with Battlegrounds, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we've talked about that game a lot on EP because it's a persistent thing. And that's the same case with Overwatch and Rainbow Six, and Ubi's really positioning a lot of their titles to kind of go in that direction, and that's what EA wants out of the next Star Wars, and Destiny and all that stuff. And that's not happening with single-player games. We play them, we move on, and then we hear that some awesome new DLC is out there. We talk about that for a minute, and then we move on. And I feel like with Spider-Man, and I don't want to dissuade or push you away from getting into this experience, because it's one of the most satisfying video game experiences I've ever had. It's a fantastic game. But I feel like when you talk about endgame content and DLC, you're kind of putting a pin on it for some people out there. And Spider-Man specifically, this open world that they've created, New York City that they've created, Spider-Man's adventures all take place in this city. And when you think about it, Insomniac's done the work of creating and crafting this. So it's hard not to reconcile with the fact that you could make new episodes on a continuous basis. Instead of waiting another 2 or 3 years for Spider-Man 2, why not just constantly create a new episode or a new issue of a Spider-Man adventure with this world that they've created with a team, and maybe it's every 2 months there's a new piece of content, and then another team is working on a full sequel with a larger, New York that's sort of made for PlayStation 5 or something like that. When I look at a game specifically like this, this is the world that Spider-Man inhabits. Just add more stories, add more villains and new adventures, and we'll keep coming back for it. If I say that, though, then I feel like I'm telling people not to go for it because it's not the all-inclusive, play forever type of game that you're getting out of an Overwatch or a Destiny, and I feel like there's so many people that are just looking for that. But this is a way more fun game for me than jumping into Overwatch or Destiny, So I'm a little conflicted, and I think that's, a big chunk of what the industry is going through right now in terms of spending money on these huge AAA single-player games and investing in perpetual games like Destiny. But anyways, it's a good conversation. Let me know what you think about the Spider-Man DLC. Let me know your thoughts on the game in the comments below or in the chat. Remember, we have Let's Play and Chat coming up a little bit later in the show. But right now, it's time for This Day and Everything Cool. Welcome to This Day and Everything Cool for September 11th. On this day in 2015, Mario got to meet his maker because Nintendo released Super Mario Maker on the Wii U. Inspired by creation games like Little Big Planet, Super Mario Maker gave players the ability to create, play, and share their very own Mario levels, putting the touchscreen of the Wii U gamepad to good use. Nintendo didn't just give you the option of making old 8-bit style Mario games. Players could use assets from pretty much every side-scrolling Mario game spanning the character's 30-year history and mix and match accordingly. They could also use amiibo figures to unlock in-game versions of characters from other Nintendo franchises, which basically meant that you could make your own side-scrolling Zelda or Splatoon games as well. As you might expect, not all of the user-generated levels were great, but many of them were pretty cool, showing an impressive level of creativity. Super Mario Maker was a critical and commercial success, with more than 7 million user-generated levels available within the first 6 months. All told, the game sold 3.5 million copies and probably would have done much better if the Wii U itself had been a more popular system. A 3DS version was released a year later, and there are rumors that Nintendo is working on an all-new Mario Maker for the Switch. Who else wants a Mario Maker for the Nintendo Switch? That would be me, Blake. That's 2. So we have 2 so far. Let us know in the comments below or in the chat if you want a Mario Maker as well. And speaking of the chat, Abby Jamison is in the house. Michael Yu, Tyler Fisher, Thorazine666, Blair Farrell, Jordan Cunningham, Blade Blur. Who else have we got in here? Paul Adamson with the big thumbs up. Tyler Fisher. I love that it's a yellow thumbs up, so it's like the Simpsons giving us a thumbs up, which is amazing. Sam I Am 111. Good to see you. The Ren, how you doing? Who else is in here? Wesley West and Taz and Adrian Leon. It's fantastic. Everybody, thank you so much. It's awesome to be here. It's awesome to be making EP Live for you. Listen, we've been meeting a whole bunch of people over the last little while, some at Fan Expo. I think I posted we broadcast a few Fan Expo pictures last week, but we've got a few more. And now that the t-shirts are actually on sale at the Deadly Grounds Cafe in Ontario, and I forget the name of the town, Cordis, Ontario. You actually can walk into the store there and buy the shirts and the Espresso Playground, which is really cool. Brad, who we hung out with at Fan Expo, was incredible, and we left him some shirts to sell if people wanted to pick those up. But we're starting to get some picks back, and they're pretty phenomenal. Let me show you a few. This is Jeff Clark, who we met at the booth, and we shared a hug. And then he went home and put on the EPN Play Forever t-shirt, took a picture. Thank you, Jeff. It looks great on you. And it's got my little signature right there. Look at that. It's a tiny little thing. I hope it doesn't wash out. but it'll be okay if it does. The shirt will still be great. This is part of my cousin Sherry's family right here, and she went to, she lives in Ontario, and her family lives in Ontario, and they actually went to the Deadly Grounds Cafe and met Brad and picked up some shirts, and I couldn't believe it. There's 4 members of the family, and they each got a shirt, and it's so sweet. Thank you, everybody. Oh man, it's so incredible. It's great to have the support here. I hope I get everybody's name right. That's the tough thing. Okay, Vicky, Nicholas, Ray. This is from a couple of months ago. And I don't know if we shared this or not, but it's a great shirt. Vicky asked if we're going to be making any tank tops, and thanks to the e-stores that we can use, it's just a couple of button clicks away. And then she took a picture of her with her man, and they're both wearing tank tops. And it was a warm summer, so I hope those came in handy. That's super cool. This is the son of a friend of ours named Paul Dennis. He bought we had some kid sizes that we had on hand, and those are in the store right now too. But he bought one for his son, and there's his son wearing it with a big thumbs up. It's so incredible. Love the pic, Paul. That's fantastic. And this is from Carlo Natali, and Daniela and Carlo are in here. And if I don't know if can I zoom in? Yeah, there's the espresso playground that they've got. I mean, this is like the modeling shot, right? This is like the packaged product shot that we would have, which is just awesome. I love the enthusiasm. You guys look great, and my little signatures are on the shirts, which is hilarious. It's so sweet. Thank you. And just got this from Tyler Fisher today, cryptic on Twitter, saying the Electric Playground mug is in good company, and it surely is. I think somebody's a big fan of Spider-Man or something. There's it's Superman. Excuse me, pardon me. Oh, I've zoomed in and I can't zoom out. But look at that pic, man. That is awesome. That is rad. It's cool to be in that company. Look at that. Superman protecting the EPN Play Forever mug. Very cool, you guys. I love that. And if you do happen to get any of the merch, please send me pictures, because it's incredible to see people wearing the brand and supporting us. We love it, and I love sharing it as well. It's really, really sweet. Okay, we've got a review that I did a little while ago, but we've been a bit busy, and I thought it's still out in theaters and still worth talking about. Here's my review of Mile 22.
Diplomacy is option 1, military is option 2. When options 1 and option 2 are abandoned, there's only one thing left, which is us. We are the third option.
Peter Berg has this very interesting fascination with the military and with the police force, and I guess people that have these extraordinary jobs out in the, the very hard world that we live in. He's back with another military-themed movie. It's called Mile 22. He's also back with his muse, Mark Wahlberg. He's done a bunch of pictures with Wahlberg. And this movie actually is really well crafted. I'm a fan of Peter Berg's work. I like The Kingdom. I like Friday Night Lights. The Rundown, the classic one with The Rock, was terrific. This guy's got a really great sense of putting motion behind his camera and creating tension. There's always this kinetic quality with the stuff that he builds. He's also got this kind of fly-on-the-wall quality where it's almost like he's shooting a documentary with these extraordinary situations, and that's exactly what befalls everybody in Mile 22. Mark Wahlberg kind of leads this, super police force, or this super tactical squad.
I don't want to know his name. I don't know what he does for a living. I want to know, who is he?
When the military can't do it, when the government can't do it, and everybody's got to go off the record, they call Mark Wahlberg and his posse, which is also helped out by this Overwatch crew, which has access to all of this technology to help them with information and instant information and real-time information while they're doing their missions.
Requesting hand of God.
Coming down.
So they'll have all of the infrared scans and drones, and they'll hack into cameras all over the place. So they have this sort of extra layer of support whenever they have to take on a tactical kind of strike. It's action-packed. It doesn't sort of let up. It's a little relentless. There are a few gun battles that seem to be framed improperly for me. It was almost like too much chaos because Berg has never met an edit he doesn't like. So every second or half a second, we've got another frame, another thing. So there were a couple of moments in there where Wahlberg's shooting in this direction and the bad guys are shooting in this direction and they're tights. And we just can't see exactly how all of the mechanics and all of the choreography was sort of going down. And it took me out of it for a second, because you're really seeing behind the filmmaking. You're seeing these angles and these angles and these angles, but you don't get that sort of, where are they? How are they doing it? There's a particular sequence where Wahlberg flanks everybody. It's like, how did you get there? How did you know that they were all going to be there and you took everybody down? And of course, the super heroics are off the charts. So, none of Wahlberg's shots miss, it feels like, for the entire thing. And he comes out rather, relatively unscathed. Lots of carnage befalls his team, though, and it was still thrilling. It was still fun to watch, just like most of Peter Berg's movies. This guy is very good at this stuff, and I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed Wahlberg in this role. He plays this guy that's kind of got this OCD and this anger and this, 5 steps ahead of everybody else kind of brain, and it drives him crazy, and he's machine gun firing his lines. And he was fun to watch. He was solid.
Thank you.
Lauren Cohen has some pretty heavy emotional stuff to kind of unravel for us on screen, and I thought that was very good.
That's my asset.
I dug the movie. It's not going to break records. It's not going to, be something you're going to be talking about for decades or anything like that, but it's another solid action picture from the partnership of Peter Berg and Mark Wahlberg. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Yeah, I didn't hate that movie. Peter Berg makes interesting things. I know he seems to flood the market with a bunch of stuff, especially with Mark Wahlberg in it. It was definitely a Mark Wahlberg-y movie, but it was still pretty fun to watch. It kept me on the edge of my seat, which was cool. Which is not a lot less than I could say about an upcoming movie that we're going to talk about today. But right now, it is time to look into the past again with a brand new buried treasure. Back in 2009 for the PlayStation 3, a game came out from that game company. It was called Flower, developed by Genova Chen and his friends, who came out of the USC game division. Flower is a very gentle, very beautiful, very atmospheric exploration experience where you are bringing gardens and trees and eventually larger parts of the geography back to life again. You control a pedal for the most part, and you're whipping around using the 6-axis control of the PlayStation 3. Eventually, Flower has come out for, I think, the iOS and Android platforms. It's also out on the PlayStation 4. I think you can get it in a bunch of different places. And it was just beautiful. It was such a atmospheric experience. It was one of those games that I would always show to people that tell me that games are just about violence and about shooting at other people. And I would hand a controller to anyone, and let them play Flower and let them recognize that the control was not about tapping buttons quicker or targeting different enemies or anything super fast. It was just about exploration and gliding over, grass and watching all kinds of foliage just bloom. These beautiful flowers would pop up and trees, and then these gorgeous lights would kind of signify that you're doing well. But it was really free form. It was really just, it was zen, and it was a great trip, and it's absolutely a beautiful experience that I recommend everyone to check out. I gave it a 10 when it came out because it was so, I think, kind of revolutionary for its time. We don't really get a lot of games like Flower. And I think when games try to sort of copy or pull from this core experience, they don't do it quite as well. This is a sensational game that kind of stands alone. It preceded Journey, which I think got a lot more attention from Genova Chen and his team. But Flower was awesome, and it's absolutely a buried treasure. How nice was it to take a break and go into Flowerland after mile 22, right? We have a little bit of everything in this show, but right now it is time for Johnny Millennium and I to get together for another Film Fury segment. We reviewed The Predator. Hey, Victor Lucas. This is Johnny Millennium, and you are watching Film Fury. And Johnny and I just survived a screening of The Predator. Yes, The Predator is back in cinemas. You may be thinking, I've seen The Predator. I've seen Predator 2s. How many Predators have there been, Johnny?
This is the 6th Predator movie.
Okay.
I made a list before it came out. Predator, the original, 87. Predator 2 in 1990. Alien vs. Predator, 2004.
Yep.
Alien vs. Predator, Requiem for a Dream. Just Requiem. 2007, that was. Predators, 2010. And Predator, The Predator, tonight.
And how many good Predator movies has there been, Johnny?
There's been one, and that was out in 1987. My father took me to it. It was a dream come true. It was the greatest movie I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
It's still fantastic to this day. I'm going to watch it tonight to erase this movie out of my mind.
To cleanse the palate of what we just watched.
Yes.
This is directed by Shane Black, who is also a co-writer on this movie. Shane Black has had a phenomenal career.
Has he?
I do like his work. I love The Nice Guys. I liked Kiss Kiss Bang. I loved Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I thought Iron Man 3 was terrific. He's got a good sensibility when it comes to writing dialogue and sort of setting a tone and creating characters that are likable, even if they're kind of scumbags. And there are a lot of likable scumbags in this movie.
Oh, yeah?
But it's so overly populated that you're just like, why am I watching all of these humans for so long, right?
There's so much I disliked in this movie.
Yeah.
We have to start at the beginning.
Yes.
And start off where we're not going to ruin anything, but there's like a bit of a predator chase.
Yep.
And one predator's chasing another in space. One of the predators lands on Earth.
Yep.
And our adventure begins when the technology is taken by our main guy, who looks like Ricky Schroeder, by the way.
A grown-up Ricky Schroeder.
Yeah.
He's Boyd Crowder, who had a pretty good role in Narcos, and he was one of the main villains in Logan. And I like this guy. He's a good actor.
Really? I didn't like him as the main. I thought he was super weak.
Well,
coming off Arnold Schwarzenegger, the original, nobody
you
can
should
top
know
that.
what his name is, and I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, you have to kind of pay attention to watch this guy, and he does kind of blend into the background, and there's other actors that kind of look like him, but he's a solid actor. He's
That's
a
fine,
competent
yeah.
performer.
In this movie, it doesn't
Yes.
matter, though. It's like irrelevant.
But there's all kinds of actors in this thing. There's Keegan-Michael Key. There's Thomas Jane shows up in this thing. There's lots of Olivia Munn is in this movie. Yvonne Strahovski is in this movie. Lots of actors are just popping in here, and they're all good actors, but it's like they're just swarming the scene.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
tons of them,
Yeah.
and you're like, how many characters are in this goddamn movie?
Yeah, and then the problem is with the characters. Here's my main problem.
Yeah.
It tries to be really funny.
Yep. Well, that's Shane
like
Black,
and
yeah.
it's cheesy comedy
Yeah.
in a Predator movie that seems like the comedy seems like it's out of a sitcom.
Yes.
It's embarrassing comedy for a movie that should be serious.
It's a bit of a mess for sure, and Shane Black is absolutely trying to evoke the '80s. The effects in the movie feel like they're from the '80s. They're CG, but they look kind of rough. They look like they're from a different era, which
Right.
I kind of liked. I also like the kind of homage. We have this Halloween scene, which is absolutely an homage to E.T., and he's trying to get that sort of '80s sensibility in this thing.
I didn't
sort of
feel it at all.
Earthiness. There was a tone that he was going for with this movie, but it's clunky and it's too forced and it's too. You know what it is? Like, The Predator was terrifying because we didn't expect this alien force to rip apart these mercenaries in the original movie,
right? Yeah,
Predator, like the actual creature that was created. In this movie, we see them on operating tables. We have this dissection. We have this acknowledgement that they keep coming to Earth for some
all the
reason.
scientists know about them.
Yeah.
They're giving a history lesson on what the
Yes.
predators are all about.
Yeah.
And it just takes away from that. And we're introduced to a brand new predator that is so stupid. And let's just say the female biologist,
Yeah.
she's an expert on alien
Olivia Munn.
biology.
Yeah.
She's brought in. She knows nothing about these aliens.
Nope.
Then all of a sudden, she's an expert on all of their background and what they're really doing here and who they really are and what they're really about. And it's like, how did you figure that out? And she's a super fast runner.
I know.
And we'll get into that later.
Super fast runner, and it does feel like big film reels are missing out of the movie.
Oh,
like,
big time.
Like we just start cutting from sequence to sequence, and you're right. Like, how do these people know all of these things that are just being like? Minutes earlier, she had just been exposed to the technology technology and had just seen an alien.
I know.
And now she knows all
She
the stuff.
walks in,
Yes.
sees all the Predator gear, she's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, is that alien stuff?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she's like, I know why they're here, what they're doing, and everything.
Yeah.
It's like a Jeff Goldblum moment.
Yeah.
It's like, get out of here.
Yeah, she's gonna hack everything with a Mac laptop.
And then there's all this action that is so over the top and so silly and so dumb and so ridiculous.
But you know what it is? But it's all human based. You know, that was
Right.
the other thing. Like, it was kind of thrilling to see the Predator come on screen. Not so much the stupid Predator dogs. Like, you don't bring Predator dogs
That's
into this
the
thing.
worst of the worst.
And they have human dog characteristics, but
Yeah,
they
so-
have dreadlocks. It's just so.
It's so dumb.
It's dumb. I mean, like, you just look at that design
Takes
and
you
you
out of
go,
the movie.
"That's dumb. Don't
Yeah.
put it in. The Predator's freaky and scary. Don't put Predator dog. Don't put." Fucking dreadlocks on your Predator dogs.
The problem with
whatever
this,
your explanation.
The problem with this movie, the core fundamental problem is everything in the movie takes you out of the movie.
Sure.
Nothing sucks you into the world and makes you a believer.
You're correct.
It's so actionally stupid
You're
and so
wanting
dumb.
to be carried away.
Totally.
Like you were in the first Predator, and I actually loved the second Predator when I saw it. I haven't
better
seen
than
it
this.
in ages. And it, because it was so different. We were in Los Angeles, and Danny Glover's trying to figure out what's happening. And
it was dumb, but it was better than this.
Yes, it was. And it was legitimately scary. And that's what we're not getting here. It's not scary.
No.
There's beat for beat kind of rip-off moments that kind of try to tip the hat to John McTiernan's work, and it's just not good enough.
And you bring up a good point.
Yeah.
This movie insulted me when it uses the incredible music from the very first Predator music, like from the first movie.
Yeah.
That music is so iconic, so incredible, and they use it here. When you hear it, it feels so familiar and wonderful, used in such a terrible movie, and it made me angry.
Well, and I
bad.
I think it would be an okay film if it didn't stack up against the prestige of the first film, and that's been the problem with every successive Predator film from the beginning. Nothing has come close to that. And so much about what makes the first Predator film so great is we didn't know what to expect, and every movie since, we've had a movie kind of try to ape what we've already seen. It's trying to kind of copy scenes and copy the fear and
give you that feeling,
but it doesn't give you that feeling. You don't feel those feelings again.
The problem again is they need to do something original, not try to do what you're saying. Do a brand new story. You know what they should do? Have I don't know the beginning of this kind of idea, but go to the the Predator homeworld and have it all happen there. Call it Predator Homeworld.
No humans.
Well, you have to have humans. There more be silent observers about something that's going on. I don't know. We need to the original. I remember Robert Rodriguez. One of the ideas he had was to bring Schwarzenegger back to the alien homeworld.
I was half expecting he doesn't pop up.
I was expecting that too.
I was expecting the Schwarzenegger, sort of
cameo,
there,
really cheap, cruddy. Thank God they didn't do that. Oh my! We're not gonna say it, but that ending. I know they were trying to be cool. It was the worst ending I've ever seen. So bad.
It was very cheesy.
So
and
bad.
I think it breaks my heart a little bit because I know Shane Black built this with the greatest intentions, and Fox keeps trying to, make the Alien and the Predator universes continue on and be successful. And there's so much crap. There's just so much garbage and unnecessary. We don't need this. Like, think of something else at this point. Scrap them. Don't make sequels to Alien. Don't make sequels to Predator. Start over with something else.
Or, actually, this may sound ridiculous. Have a script that is good. I don't care what anybody says. If you read this, you'd be like, this is stupid.
And even with these excellent, competent actors, they're really, really good
they're
actors.
Good. They're fine in other movies.
Yes.
In this, nobody could have made this movie work. Even if you put Schwarzenegger as the main character, this movie still would be stupid as hell.
It's about the sniper guy that encounters the Predator and then gets caught on a prison bus with a bunch of Looney Tunes.
Rogue guys.
And then they become the A-Team. And
the A-Team's a great way to put it.
Like everybody's at Hannibal from the who's the crazy guy?
Murdoch.
Yeah, everybody's Murdoch from the every one of the actors is Murdoch from the A-Team. It's insufferable, and it goes on way too long. And we're supposed to have these heartwarming scenes with these characters. And you just don't give a crap about them, and we're stuck with them. It's like we are chained up to them.
That's what we're stuck watching this movie, and it's very rare I'm watching it, and I'm like, man, I want my 2 hours back. I got a lot of stuff to do in my life.
Totally.
This is a waste of time.
Well, we saw it, so you don't have to. We suffered through The Predator.
But
it's not the worst of the Predator
if you just
movies.
want to be on a date movie and you want to watch some predators kill each other and do some crazy things, go watch it. But this is not high art.
No.
This is the worst of the worst.
And I also think you'll catch it late night sometime or on Netflix or whatever, and you will find glimmers of entertainment in there, but it's such a limp piece of garbage.
Another
Yes.
missed Predator opportunity.
Yeah.
Join the list.
Yes.
Join the list.
What does it get from you?
Oh my God. I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 10.
Yeah, it gets a 4.5. It's, actually, I'm going to give it a 5. I think it's very mediocre. I'm going to a 5.
God.
Yeah. Yeah, so Johnny and I saw The Predator, and so now you don't have to. You can save that money and that time, and you could put it towards, I don't know, Spider-Man for the PlayStation 4, or you could put it into a jar with the word Nintendo Switch taped to it, or what else could you buy? A lot of Reese's Peanut Butter Cups if you wanted. Just lots of fun things. Actually, you could go on Steam sales or one of these crazy console eShop sales and buy a ton of games for the price of that movie ticket that you would despise. I'm getting shot at. On today's Battle Royale game, because there's going to be one almost every day, I feel like, we are taking a look at the beta for Call of Duty Blackout. I'm already mid-mission here. I've landed. Don't be confused and think that this is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. This is Call of Duty's game, and as Blake has pointed out rightly as I've been running around, this is going to be a very easy game for a lot of people to jump in and play. Not to do well, but to jump in and play, because everybody's familiar with the mechanics and the way that Call of Duty kind of handles, and that is accurate. So I'm running around inside of this enormous map, which is shrinking. I'm getting shot. Oh, there's this guy. Dead.
Squad destroyed by
and I'm trying to stay
hostile
alive.
action.
And I didn't. I placed number 21 though, or our squad did. So that's not too bad.
Hi everyone.
Okay, Blake is here.
21 is good.
And you know the deal. So let's play and chat. We chat with you. Blake will help me follow along. He's got comments, questions. So please put all caps if you can. That helps us out quite a bit. Okay, cool. Oh, it's like I can look this way. Okay, here we go.
Did we mention that we did a beta code giveaway for this?
Safe zone.
On Twitter?
That was right during the middle of XDS, but yes, I gave away, I don't know, about 30 codes or something like that. Yeah.
So if you missed that, too bad for you.
Oh, that's...
Activision was good enough to, because we probably should have brought it up before that.
I need to send you to, was it Dr. Doolittle that taught decorum or something?
No, Dr. Doolittle is the guy who talks to animals.
It talks to animals, okay. Oh, it's the same actor.
Oh.
Yeah, who played both. I can't remember.
I don't know.
Back in the day.
I don't know.
Yeah. Go to finishing school.
I'm just saying, I wanted to point out that it was very nice of Activision to hook us up with a bunch of codes that we were able to give out on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have a comment. I have a comment from Jordan Cunningham. I hope it's at least better than Alien vs. Predator Requiem. That was the second Alien vs. Predator movie that was
I
awful.
blocked all of those things out. Like I've
it was
seen
the
all
one
of those movies.
they shot it here.
Yeah, they shot they shot the Predator.
R-rated, and they were in a small town.
Was that the Robert Rodriguez movie?
No, that was the
Alien vs. Predator.
No, the one Robert Rodriguez didn't have the aliens in it. It was just called Predators.
Okay.
And it was with Adrian Brody.
Okay.
And X-Men Doctor Lady, I forget her name.
I cannot remember any of Famke Janssen.
No, the X-Men Doctor Lady from the new X-Men movie that hasn't come out. So she's not X-Men Doctor Lady yet.
Okay.
I just know her from the trailer. Alicia, she's Latino or Latina, or
I don't know.
Alice Braga. Is that a lady?
Okay, yeah.
Is that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
She was a sniper.
Sonia Braga.
Yeah, and it had 70s show kid as he was like a serial killer.
Okay.
That movie wasn't terrible, but it was kind of lame.
I mean, the expectation and the hope is that they're going to be awesome, like Predator 1 was, and they can't get anywhere near it. And they can. Is this my guy?
You're in the just the waiting area.
Oh, I'm still.
You're just waiting to deploy.
Oh, okay. I was freaking out there for a second. Okay.
We should point out that this is exactly like Battlegrounds.
Pretty much, yeah.
The map is one big map, and it has pieces of other Call of Duty maps within it, which is kind of a neat idea.
Do I start with these weapons?
No, this is just you picking them up for fun.
Okay.
So you can get the hang of them, I guess. I don't know. Because this is a map from another Call of Duty game, right? Where you're standing?
I think so.
Yeah, and so they have
Much
this.
like Predator movies, the maps from Call of Duty, blurring.
Yeah. But that's the coolest thing for me about this map that I find the most interesting is that they took like Nuketown and bits and pieces of all the most famous Call of Duty maps and put them in one big city, essentially.
Yeah, it's great.
I think that's a cool idea.
I mean, this is the real threat, right, to Battlegrounds. They have all of this legacy and history and these players that show up every year, and they know how many people jump in for multiplayer. I think the real battle is between Battlefield and this now, like it always has been in the first-person shooter genre. But I think that both Fortnite and Battlegrounds are going to have some pretty major threats going on. Fortnite sidesteps it all though because it's free. So, but this is definitely going to be fascinating. But if people have comments, questions, thoughts about the reviews?
We have a comment from the Happy Console Gamer.
Oh, yes.
It says, I have no idea what these guys' problems are with the movie. It was great.
Johnny, we stand by our review, Happy Console Gamer. You just have to take our word for it, okay? You just have to take your word for it. You did not have a good time last night.
I was surprised that it's not, because I haven't seen it yet. I was surprised that it wasn't good because Shane Black is such a solid filmmaker.
I know, but it was like he put every Shane Blackism he could into the film. It was just overstuffed with people that were just overacting, and the script was silly, and it just went on and on and on. And it's like, can the Predator come and kill them all? And it took too long.
What movie was I watching where I just hated all the characters? I was watching something recently and I hated all the characters and I wanted them all. That too, but there was something else. I'm bugging me that I can't remember. Yeah, I was happy when all the characters died because they were so annoying. A lot of people are talking about the EP Classic. Because you mentioned at the start of the show.
Yeah, thoughts on that?
Somebody said, I'm just trying to find the comment. Legacy. Yeah, Paul Adamson is saying, suggesting reaching out to Legacy Box.
Oh, what's that?
I guess they're a company that puts out old. Who is Legacy Box? Let's find out.
Okay.
Maybe they're like Shout Factory. I don't know. Legacy Box is. Just fill Legacy Box with your tapes, films, pictures, and audio. Send it in, and we'll send it back with your memories. Oh, so I think he might have not been serious.
Oh.
You send in tapes, and they put them on DVD for you.
Oh yeah, no, that would.
The problem is when we said all our footage is on beta tapes, they're not on like VHS
and DVC Pro 50.
It's all like pro.
Some mini DV stuff.
It's all pro stuff. It's not like consumer grade stuff. There's
a few consumer. Stuff where we like the mini DV. We don't have tons of it, but we have some.
But we don't really have anything on mini DV. Certainly not our old episodes.
No.
But like the problem is a lot of the gear we need to dub this stuff, like can't buy anymore because it's all 20 years old.
Yeah. Some of it, yeah.
None of it's on film, thank God. That would be a pain in the ass.
I mean, we honestly have like an archival problem that sort of would mirror like Entertainment Tonight or CNN in some ways. Like we have footage going back 25 years, and it's a big job. And I want it to be a big job, and I want it to be like everybody keeps asking when Reviews on the Run and Judgment Day stuff's going up there, and it's like
that, like because you and I are spread so thin as it is.
Yeah.
Like that could be easily one person's full-time job, just doing that.
Oh, more than that. Because we want to archive it properly and. Like we have an idea of what's in every episode, but we don't have an idea of what people are talking about or who they are really, and there's so many different ways.
It, Because what I did, one of the first things I did 10 years ago or 11 years ago now when I was hired is I was going through, there was like a gap in the tape log of like a couple hundred tapes of just interviews from like old E3s and things. Yeah. And I went through those old tapes, and it takes hours to sometimes to do one tape.
So this is what I'm thinking. I'm feeling like it's time for us to, really devote some time instead of posting these things when we can, really put that time into finding partners and or doing some kind of a crowdfunding campaign from people that would be interested in that stuff and doing it right because it's a big job and we're doing the best we can with that, but it's a big job and I want it to be handled correctly,
Adrian Leon is asking, will you continue to add more classic EP episodes? The last 2 weeks were missed. That's kind of what we're figuring out right now.
We are going to do, well, here's what I've decided. We're going to do up to the end of season 5, and then I'm taking a break on posting any more classic stuff. And I'm going to find a way to get some money in so that we can take care of the rest of the archive in a proper way.
The shorter answer is yes, but not right away. We got to figure out how and.
Yeah, well, I mean, this weekend I will post another episode, and we'll finish season 5. I think we're up to like episode 10 or something like that. So we have more episodes to get to the 13 episodes.
You made it to number 26.
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
That's not bad.
Just staying alive.
26 out of 100 is pretty good. Tyler Fisher has another recommendation. Perhaps reach out to Kinda Funny to see if they want to support classic episodes.
It's a suggestion for sure. I mean, what I'm definitely going to do, because I know a lot of people in the game space, is if we do a crowdfunding campaign like Kickstarter or Indiegogo or something like that, that's going to become a thing that the whole business is going to know about as well. And one of the things that I would do if we do something like that is basically put a sponsor slot in there, or a few different sponsor slots. I haven't got it all figured out. That's why I wanted to kind of talk it over with the people that are.
As in the game, Vic.
This is spectating.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to talk it over with.
Sorry, I thought you were playing.
With you guys to kind of see what you've got to say about it. I know you all just want to watch the shows, but it's a lot of work, is what I'm saying.
If we had all the shows just like sitting on a hard drive somewhere, that'd be one thing. But everything you got to understand is on tapes.
Yes.
And they're all different kinds of tapes and different kinds of discs that are sitting. And like I said, a lot of them can't be played on modern machines. We have to find old stuff, and a lot of them aren't.
And even when we post them, it's still a little bit of work to kind of prep one episode.
So you have to find the stuff, digitize it, prep it a bit, post it to YouTube,
and it's all good work.
Archive
it's great work. It's fun, but it's time, and
it's a lot more work than you might think.
But the other side of it is that we're only posting these episodes. We're not posting extended cuts. We're not cutting it into separate segments. Because some people only want to see a segment.
You would sit down and speak with Miyamoto for 20 minutes, and that would be a 3-minute interview segment. Like that could easily be a 15-minute thing.
Yes.
But that's time to sit there and polish it, and
Yeah. So we don't want to monopolize this whole conversation. If you've got other questions or whatever, but if you've got ideas or feedback, please let us know in the comments below. And if you're watching the archive of this, let us know. But let's see, anybody else have any comments?
Yes, I do. I have another question unrelated to that.
Okay.
GRM Freak 84.
Yeah.
83 was taken. Hey Vic, what are your thoughts on this Call of Duty game, Black Ops 4, not having a single-player campaign?
I think that if it did have the single-player campaign, this would be the coolest Call of Duty ever. But it doesn't have it, and so it's going to be judged based on that absence. But this is a pretty epic mode. This is, I think, kind of proving itself. You know, we were all kind of skeptical when it was announced.
Go to that dam.
Where?
The dam in front
right there.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can make it that far, but
cool.
This feels really big and fun, and it's just a mode. And when you play it, it's like, well, this is all of Battlegrounds, you know, and that's been out for 2 years.
Yeah,
it feels
it's like you were saying in the rundown. Battlegrounds is a mode.
It's a mode.
And this
from
is
now
like
on.
one.
Yes.
All of Battlegrounds is like one tiny little piece of a much bigger game.
Yeah. So I feel like Call of Duty made the right choice for Call of Duty, but I don't think they made the right choice for the, moving the needle in entertainment beyond what we've seen before. Like if they had done Call of Duty with single player, with zombies, with traditional multiplayer and a battle royale mode, that would have knocked everybody on their ass. And I guess that's what Battlefield 5 is kind of doing, though, right? They're giving us a campaign and battle royale and multiplayer.
Well, there's no zombies.
No zombies, right? I mean, it's like a feature chase. It's just weird. I am curious to see how the snippets of narrative, because they say that narrative is sort of embedded throughout all of the multiplayer experiences. I'm curious to see what that means.
Well, you know what, Vic? Whenever they talked about that, we interviewed them. It sounded like PR spin. Yep. Like, oh, there's no single player, but we've woven single player in. Like, what does that even mean? Like, It felt like
it means that they created characters and they created
distinct
skills and some personality in the recorded VO, and they also looks like they spent a lot on the zombies mode this year.
But that all sounds like, I don't know, it sounds like BS. Because the rumor is they were making a single player campaign, but it wasn't going to be finished, so Activision just pulled the plug.
Yeah.
And it feels like putting all that, saying that, we have all these character progressions in the multiplayer. It feels like that's a last minute sort of excuse.
They're having to reply for that, absolutely.
I don't know. Maybe
who is not going to play this game because it does not have single player gameplay?
That's kind of a rhetorical question because everybody who gets Call of Duty is still going to get it.
Well, I don't know. I'm curious just on whoever is in our chat right now who is purposefully not getting this game, and they've purchased previous Call of Duty games, but you're deciding not to get this game because it does not have a single player.
I'll let you know when the chat catches up. But another way you could phrase that is, who gets Call of Duty just for the single player?
Right.
Right. And I think the answer to that is probably nobody.
Well, a lot of reviewers do. They don't get it just for the single player, but that's where they spend a big chunk of their time because that's where they get it's the framework of the experience, right? It's not just the story, it's also like the level designs and the characters and the weapons and all that stuff are sort of defined by the single player campaign. And that's, reviewers play the multiplayer for as long as they can, but then they got to move on to review something else. A lot of people play Call of Duty for that full year until the new Call of Duty comes out.
That's a nice gun. Activision, I'm sure, did a whole bunch of market research and focus testing to decide.
Totally gonna die running that one.
Absolutely. Can you drive that train to where you need to be? Drive that forklift, Vic.
Okay, here we go. Let's get in. That'd be hilarious.
Supply drop inbound.
Is there any helicopters nearby?
I'm gonna see.
We were flying around in helicopters earlier before we were streaming.
Oh, that guy's on an ATV or a motorcycle.
Kill him and take it.
It's a shotgun. Hello! Hi, what you doing? Hi, I'm Vic. What's your name? Hello, don't shoot me. Hello! They got me.
They are their teammates. They flanked you, Vic.
Am I alive? Hello! Hi, guys. Do you have a health pack? I seem to be hurt here. Hello? Oh! That's not very
rude.
That's not very
Eliminated.
Friendly. Oh.
Beamer boys. Got you with a Maddox RFB.
They can't hear me in the game, thank God.
Maybe they can. Maybe the...
No, they can't. Oh, through here?
Yeah.
No, you have to have the...
Weren't you playing it was an Xbox game?
Yeah.
Because you were talking and you didn't know they could hear you.
Yeah. When you have the cameras built in or plugged in and they've got the mic coming in, I get that all the time.
Philip Nijagi.
Yeah.
I would get, in answer to your earlier question, I would get it on the strength of its zombies. Last Call of Duty I got was Black Ops 3, and I didn't even play the story. So I guess that's a yes, still getting it, even without the single player.
Mm-hmm. Zombies mode looks amazing.
Paul Adamson, I've had 1 or 2 Call of Duties for single player. Multiplayer wasn't for me. I won't be picking this up.
Yeah.
But Paul Adamson, would you have gotten it anyway? If there were single player, would you have gotten it? Right? So my estimate is the sales aren't going to dip at all.
Out of all the single players, the Black Ops ones have been really ambitious and crazy and fun. And I think that there were lots of people that were sort of zeroing in on the single player stories of this game. But I don't know. I don't know how much that's going to affect sales. I think this is going to be huge.
Tyler Fisher says, Black Ops 1 was the last Call of Duty I enjoyed. Wife says World at War for her. Holy, that World at War is 10 years ago, wasn't it? Game Freak 84 comment, I can't pick this one up. I've always played single player and enjoyed them, even Infinite Warfare. I feel like Activision is jumping on the Battle Royale bandwagon, so it's another no.
Yeah. I mean, what they've done, though, is they've effectively created this brand, and they've already established that they can have dips in sales and come back strong with this franchise. So, they've essentially built a 4-quadrant thing for next year, you know? Because what's going to happen is Blackout mode will probably persist, and I suspect that they're going to strip it out, and it'll probably be free to play. And then
they're going to have this in every Call of Duty game.
Yeah, forward. Right.
Or some variation of Battle.
Yeah, and then they'll just add new map pieces, and it's. I mean, they've set this up forever now with another mode.
Another one, Matthew Winstone. There has to be a way to play by yourself, at least local only. Don't always feel like playing online, dying constantly all the time. I don't think you can play this locally.
Blackout.
It's single player, or it's online only, right?
I think there are some single player missions.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we'll find out.
I think it's,
sure.
but even if you're doing that, it's online only. I think like you have to be online.
Yeah, you're online for sure.
Eliminate all opposition.
Abby Jamison, comment, question, do we really need Call of Duty annually?
No.
Activision's shareholders do.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the only reason we get it annually.
Yeah. I mean, you can't pick what another person would find fun though either, right?
Yeah,
a lot of people would only get this game, you know, and that's it for their whole year.
I get Assassin's Creed every year, and I finish those.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're into Call of Duty, this is your thing.
This is, I mean, it's an esports title. It's a massive esports experience. We've been to some of those events; they're amazing, and it's very analogous to the sports games coming out every year. It's a new season of Call of Duty, right? And for the price of it, for the amount of hours of entertainment you can get out of it, it's a pretty good deal, you know?
Yeah.
Even without single player put into it. So the answer is no, we don't all need an annual Call of Duty, and perhaps the franchise would take some tremendous risks and strides if it didn't come out every year.
Hang on, this is a very important question though. The corn is not bending when you run through it.
Yeah.
This is unacceptable.
Terrible.
0 out of 10.
Yeah.
Unrealistic corn physics.
And look, I can't take the corn.
What?
I can't peel
What
the
is
corn.
this?
I can't cook the corn.
I want corn on the cob.
F this game.
And I want what is that? Cabbage?
Yeah. Can I jump in
Unacceptable.
the hay? Like
Unacceptable.
Assassin's Creed? No. Can't get in the hay.
Too much gluten.
F this
0
game.
out of 10.
F. Okay, what's in here? Open. Ooh, I got a fast mag and a Molotov and a looter. And I got lots of stuff. Holy crap, that was packed.
Oh, a couple people are talking about Battlefield 5.
Yeah, what's the word? I haven't played that.
I'm excited, Tyler Fisher. I'm excited to see what Criterion Games will do with Battle Royale mode in Battlefield 5.
Yeah.
The fact that it allows them to focus fully on that, with DICE focusing fully on the main game, is really smart. That's a good point. Yeah. Because did Treyarch do this, or did one of the other Activision subsidiaries do this?
I mean, they are all the same now. There's so much external development from like Rainbow works on Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And
they all have
Visions.
multiple studios working on pieces of it.
Yeah, and Activision has like top flight teams everywhere. You know.
Yeah, I think the Zombies mode is made by someone else too.
What's sad? I mean, we've been raving about Spider-Man. At least I have. And Treyarch made Spider-Man 2 and 1, but also Ultimate Spider-Man. And you know, there was a company that had so much talent and diversity in the types of material that they made, but now it's all been bang, bang, shoot, shoot, run, 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 zombie, zombie. Which, don't ever use that to describe Call of Duty. But, you know, they've had way more success monetarily, you know. And a lot of developers, honestly, are driven to that stage, you know. They know that if they sign up with a company, I think I've got a grapple hook there. That's great. They know that if they sign up with a company like this, they're going to have millions of people play their work, and that's very enticing for a lot of people out there.
Do you know who else has a grappling hook, Vic? Batman.
Batman has one. Corvo. Oops, that was not. That was not a grappling hook. Can I burn the?
Yeah, a couple of people are.
Cool.
Apropos of you talking about an annual thing, like.
Yeah.
Microsoft is introducing the subscription service.
Yes.
Like, you've been saying this for a few years now that, you know, FIFA and NHL, those type of games can be a subscription thing.
Yeah.
Activision has already tried subscription models with Call of Duty.
Yeah.
They had that stupid account-based subscription thing.
Oh, yeah, right.
Remember? But
yes,
they could do that with the games. You just pay, I don't know, $5 a month, and you just get a steady stream of new content within the game and make it a games as service thing.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to work for one game. I don't know if I don't know. I mean, maybe it would, but
I think they might try to do it with Black Ops 4, because they're still updating Black Ops 3 with new stuff. Right. I think they're going to try to do it with this.
Yeah, true. Yeah, Black Ops 3 was a tremendous success. It's crazy that they are, you know, upsetting the apple cart so much.
Somebody's your teammate's in trouble.
Where?
It's just you and me.
I think so, at least. Oh, yeah, dead now. Yeah.
Okay.
You leave no man behind, Vic.
Yeah, I'm not being a good duo, a good part of a good duo. Yeah, we're certainly entering into into subscription base for a lot of titles for sure. Let's see if there's anybody out there. Can I drive that truck?
Tyler Fisher's pointing out you don't have to buy the season pass for Call of Duty to get all of its DLC, or is he asking that as a question? I'm not sure. While Dice have said there is no premium, no season pass, and no pay. Oh, okay, so
yeah.
Oh yeah, so because you have to sort of pay for new stuff in this, whereas in Battlefield 5 it's going to all be free.
Right.
Or is that true? Am I correct in saying? Let me Google this. I don't want to say anything that isn't true. Because I'm sure there's a season pass something or other for Battlefield 5.
It might not be maps though.
Okay, so won't have. Oh, okay. So Battlefield 5 there's no season pass. You don't buy any of the DLC, but you can buy cosmetic items.
Right.
And that's how it should be for every game.
Right.
But yeah, with this, there's going to be season pass stuff.
Guys, we're on the precipice for lots of games to be. I don't think it'll work for just one game. I think singular games will be free to play, especially if their focus is multiplayer. I mean, everybody's looking at Fortnite going, I want that. But I think that the companies will be, like EA is already doing it, but I think a lot of other companies will be offering, $5 a month and you get tons of access to games. But we're going into subscriptions. For the sports games, though, in particular, I have this discussion with people about it because it does feel like they repurpose stuff, and it's just a roster change with. I'm absolutely generalizing and simplifying. But my thought on sports titles is that if you go to a live event of any of those real leagues or real sports, and you sit down in a real stadium and pay for that seat, you're spending more than the cost of FIFA or Madden or NBA or whatever. And the amount of content, if you're a hyper fan of those sports, that you get for that $80 investment is crazy. It's a pretty damn good deal. Comparative to the way games are priced right now, that's still a lot of money. I think that games should be cheaper, and I've been saying that for years too, because people shouldn't have to think about jumping in, especially if there's all these other monetization models after the fact.
On your right, and behind you, there's another ATV, so there might be someone nearby.
Okay.
Sorry, and I just Googled this. Apparently, all of the DLC, you can only get it through the season pass. So you can't buy individual packs like you could before.
In this game?
Yeah, the only way to get new content is to buy the whole season pass.
Wow.
So that's the complete opposite of Battlefield 5.
Wow.
So that's,
and what does the season pass cost?
Further collapse expected.
Probably,
Travel to
let me find out.
So you're probably talking about $150 to get the whole thing in Call of Duty Blackout.
Yeah. With no single player.
I mean, there's only so much time that Activision is going to be able to do that, And maybe that's how companies like Bluehole and Epic, it's going to be the battle of the battle royales. People keep telling us to check out H1Z1, and there's a ton of them, But it's going to be a question of locking people in and taking their time. Look at this; it's so cool. It's a nice. Is that somebody's house in the woods? Let's make some noise.
Pretty nice house. I'm just trying to figure out. I don't know. Have they announced the price of the season pass? I'm not seeing it. Can't find it. I don't know if they've announced it yet. They might not have announced the price yet.
They might not, yeah.
Let me see. That's the Call of Duty store.
They might have some changes to that whole pricing structure and the model after they launch as well. If they see sales aren't where they want them to be or something.
Abby Jamison has a good comment. Games as a subscription is going to create problems with game preservation later on.
Yeah.
That's a good point, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, 100%.
Well, the Call of Duty store has water jugs, but not the season pass. Why is that there?
Although presumably people will have. Do I have a parachute? Presumably people will have an opportunity to bring out their back catalog and offer that at some kind of a fee.
Circle collapse imminent. Get to safety.
So maybe we'll get more of the classic catalog than we've had for years because of servers and storage and consumer demand. I think Nintendo's going to be testing that out, sort of leading the waters with that a little bit.
Okay, so I haven't found the season pass by itself, but the digital deluxe edition of the game, which has the game and the season pass, is $130 US.
Okay, yeah.
So the season pass is probably $50.
150 bucks.
The season pass by itself is probably $50 US. But I could be wrong about that. But it's up there.
Okay.
It's definitely the high end of the season pass price. What's that that blue line sticking up in the sky?
I don't
What's
know.
that? It seems weird.
Come on. Oh, there's 2 dudes on it.
Jordan Cunningham, in response to your earlier question, comment: I probably am not going to get Black Ops 4. All the other Call of Duties I bought and played, I have got for the story and single player. Multiplayer and zombies are just a bonus for me. So we have 3 no's on getting this because there's no single player. So I don't know. Maybe this will backfire on Activision.
Buzz is good on this, though.
Yeah,
I think people are going to be super excited to see this.
Yeah, it could be a good game, but if the pricing and everything, if people aren't feeling it, like that doesn't mean they're going to buy it, right? And maybe they're not going to take this out as a standalone thing. If they're only selling the DLC.
Here's the dam.
Oh, that's cool. See, because this dam was in another level. It was its own multiplayer map in one of the other games, I think. I recognize it from somewhere. So it's cool that it's part of a larger.
Pretty rad, right?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Just like Batman.
Ooh.
What's the fall damage like? Probably just jumping.
I don't know. I never fall.
Be advised. Further collapse expected. Relocate to safe zone.
That was cool.
Pretty cool. Oh, there's a guy there. Watch out. Get down, get down.
Oh, down. No. Let's see, where is he?
He's shooting at you from the other side.
Oh, man.
Squad destroyed by hostile
How did he?
Number
He got
11.
11. That's pretty good.
Woo!
That's pretty good.
Getting up there. That was fun.
There's 100 total players, right?
Supply drop incoming.
You must not fight too often with one enemy, or you will teach him all of your art of war. That's cool.
Remember, kids, post your questions and comments in bold so I can find them.
We'll do one more. We'll see how we do. I'm
do
having
it.
fun. This is cool.
Trying to find. Yeah, it surprises me that we have 3 people say no because of the lack of single player.
Right.
It seems that's more than I thought we would get. Abby Jamison comment: EA has been known to remove games from Origin even if you had them installed. So she's referring to preservation. Yeah, game preservation is a big thing, right? Like with movies, there's a whole industry around preserving them. They don't really have that with games, not yet anyway.
It's treated disposably. I mean, that's why Buried Treasure is such a. I mean, people dig the segment. It's fun to make it, but it feels like a moment of just hesitating for a second and reflecting. Like, yeah, that was a cool experience. Why did it totally disappear? You know.
I have a question, Vic.
Yes.
When you jump out of the plane, can you go into those smokestacks that are there?
Ooh, I don't know. Like
should try that.
And For Your Eyes.
Yeah. You should try that next time.
Okay.
Steel works. Oh, there's oil on the ground. Look at that. It's like my car was parked there.
Actually, was that For Your Eyes Only? I think it was, right?
Yeah, the cold open where he drops him down. Yeah, that was For Your Eyes Only. Yeah. And it was a totally different actor.
Yeah, it was. Well, Telly Savalas was gone, but
LZ is a free fire zone.
guy.
They had a different Bullet-filled actor.
I forget what his name was.
It was Donald Pleasance and the guy from Rocky Horror.
Tim Curry?
No, not him. The narrator from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Okay.
He was one of the he was Blofeld in Diamonds Are Forever.
And Telly Savalas was the only time he did it was on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they must have had, and it was like just a stunt guy in For Your Eyes Only.
Oh, it was a dummy. It looks so.
No,
fake.
but they had an actual. Well, it's a dummy when he's hanging off the helicopter.
Yeah.
But when it's a,
Some of those old stunts and effects are hilarious to see again. Server command overflow. What the hell does that mean? Oh, I was supposed to jump into a smokestack.
That's fine, Vic.
All right. Oh. All right, let's see if we can get to number 1 this time. Is there crafting in this game? Did they do that?
I haven't seen any.
Or is there crafting?
There's going to be crafting in Battlefield 5.
Battlefield 5, okay.
And that's not just in the Battle Royale, that's in the, because I played the beta for just the regular multiplayer.
Okay.
And you can, it's not as in-depth as Fortnite, but they were definitely paying attention to Fortnite, because you can make sort of little turrets and barriers for you to, like, what are those called?
Yeah.
Things for you to hide under,
yeah.
You know? Yeah. Blair Farrell's pointing out that even with, like...
Oh, I'm in the camp. Here we go.
Cool. With regards to film preservation versus game preservation, it's also legally a lot harder to preserve games because of licensing and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas with movies, like, you know, it's
they license everything in movies.
But with movies, like, it's very rare that a movie can't be re-released because it has an old song in it.
Right.
Right. Usually, the rights you get for a movie are in perpetuity.
Yeah.
But with a game, you don't have that. I guess.
Which is nuts.
Yeah. Because again, there's a whole industry devoted to film preservation.
Yeah.
Gaming industry doesn't have that.
Yeah, there's like Frank Cifaldi. There's like some individual dudes that you could point to and say, well, that's all he's focused on right now.
Tyler Fisher is asking, have you looked up or seen Freakish on Hulu?
No.
Do we even have Hulu in Canada?
I think we did.
I get it because I'm sneaky.
Okay.
But like,
are you subscribed to it?
I
lost my half my duo.
If you have access to an American credit card, it's pretty easy.
Gotcha.
And a VPN.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I don't even know if Canadians can get it. Question from Adrian Leon: is Tommy getting a Spider-Man PS4 Pro? I doubt he would have passed that up.
I just got a text from him just before the show started, so we're going to be talking probably today about Spider-Man on the PlayStation 4.
Not in this episode.
No. We're going to see if he's got time to come on the show and talk to us about it. If he's played it. Oh, I'm totally going the wrong way.
Matthew Winstone says, I think we got CBS All Access recently.
Oh, cool.
But not with Star Trek Discovery.
Oh, weird.
Which makes CBS All Access that much better.
Oh, you.
Star Trek Discovery sucks.
It's a good show.
No, it's not.
It's a lot of fun.
But you know what it's not, Vic?
Very cool.
It's not a good Star Trek show.
Very cool sci-fi show. Feels a lot like Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like Star Trek. That's the problem. It does feel like Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, it sure does.
If Battlestar Galactica were not as well written.
Ah, yes. Can I drive this?
Probably not. Isn't that a shame?
Yeah.
If you see a vehicle in
Totally.
any game, you should be able to just drive it.
Unless it looks completely devastated.
Yeah, but if it's there, like in real life, you could have driven that.
Yeah.
You should be able to drive in the game.
How come oh, it's this way.
Like if this were GTA, you could drive that car. You can't drive it here.
I can't?
I don't think so.
Oh, that's
but if
not-
this were GTA, you could.
Right.
You know, that's a shame.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, it's this. It's Halo type controls. Okay, let's go. Oh, and I have to press up. Okay. I get it. I'm sure you can change all those controls. Am I the 41st person alive already?
Is that 41 total players or teams? Because if it's teams, then there's 82 people alive, right?
Okay.
So did we say that there's like, it's in teams of 2?
Yeah.
Just
duos.
50, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know, the final game that might not be mandatory, but I think in the beta it is.
My partner is dead. I saw him fade.
Vic, you just ran that stop sign.
I sure did. I'm trying to get into the circle. I don't know what happens if the circle gets me. No, it's the circle. Okay, so I'm in the circle. I'm in the edge of the circle. Oh, there's somebody coming.
Have you even gotten one kill yet?
No.
Let's try to get your one kill today, Vic. Do it. I believe in you.
Where is it?
I believe in you.
I heard it. Where is it? Oh, there's a chopper coming too.
I know. Get to the chopper! That's from a good Predator movie.
Yes, it was. It is a line that is also uttered in this terrible Predator movie.
Oh my god, did they really?
Yeah.
Oh no. It says frack. Like in Battlestar Galactica.
Right. I hear them shooting.
I saw a car driving by. It might just be... They might just be
anybody.
shooting really far away. It's weird to see a Call of Duty game with a map this big, though. There's a guy. You see him? He's way over. There he is. He's like on the where the corner of the fence is, like right way in front of you. There's two guys over there.
I don't see him.
They're probably long gone by now.
Looks pretty cool. It's definitely a super intense experience, just like Battle Royale, or just like Battlegrounds.
Question: what would a Spider-Man Battle Royale game look like?
Something tells me we're gonna find out.
Could do that. Not just Spider-Man, but all the Marvel characters.
Yeah, a superhero Battle Royale game. That's gonna happen for sure.
Batman would win every time.
Yes, he would. He'd outthink everybody.
Further collapse expected. Travel to indicated safe zone.
Wouldn't it be awesome if I shot that guy right out of the chopper? What? Here they come. They're coming for me.
You gave away your position, Vic.
I sure did. Let's go under the tree.
I don't think the helicopters have guns, right?
No, but you can. Oh my god. That was
Destroyed by hostile action.
13! That's
man.
Good job, Vic.
That was okay. It's basically.
That's pretty good.
It's about camping and just staying alive for as long as possible.
You know what, Vic? It's about having fun.
I had fun.
As long as you have fun, you
It's
win.
kind of like soccer, though. You know, like nothing happens for a long time, and then it does.
Nothing happens until something happens really quickly, and then it's over.
Yes, exactly. So that was a little taste of the beta of Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Blackout. That was fun. That was a good show. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you to everybody that
everyone.
watched us. Thank you so much. And if you're checking out this stream that we've done, which is a live stream, and we'd love for you to join us live if you can, because wonderful people like Matthew Winstone and Wesley West and Audrion Leon and Tyler Fisher and Abby Jameson and all kinds of incredible folks are in the chat with us, and they are good people to know. We had a blast today. Thank you very much. We'll be back again tomorrow with another brand new episode of EP Live. Blake and I will figure out what's going to be in that very soon. So please come back if you can. And if you haven't seen everything on the channel, please dig around and check some of our stuff. And if you like it, hit subscribe and that little bell. And if you're so inclined, we have that join button as well to become a member of EPN. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Thanks for watching. Play forever.